Hello, Steve White, Steve Arts 89. Well, I finally caught up with The Bear. It's in its second season, has been renewed for a third season, but I only just heard about it when a couple of the stars got Emmys like a week ago, including Ao and Michael Matheson, or Matheson. It's interesting that the first season is very much just about this guy who has a drinking problem, although he doesn't actually drink in the show. He goes to Alcoholics Anonymous, and it's really doesn't seem like an issue. And he's basically taken over his brother's sandwich shop after his brother commits suicide. And he wants to turn it into a real restaurant because that's what he wants to be. He wants to be a real chef in a real restaurant. He was working in a world-class restaurant before the brother died, and he basically was given the restaurant. Now he's dealing with his cousin who sort of wants to run it, and of course there's, they're butting heads and testosterone's flying, and it's very messy in that way. And it's funny because I think I'm getting kind of tired of American TV shows because all they are is about conflict and fighting and yelling and screaming, and Americans seem to think that yelling and screaming is basically the pinnacle of acting. And there's a lot of yelling and screaming in this series, and it gets a bit ridiculous at certain times. It doesn't seem real to me. I'm looking at these people, I'm like, no one would scream like this, insanely like this. There's no reason here. So there's a few moments where they are just chewing the scenery. It's like there isn't enough food in the restaurant, so they're just chewing the scenery. But it still kind of works. You want to know why the brother killed himself. You want to sort of see where this goes. You want him to sort of find a sort of peace with the people that already work there who are sort of resisting him coming in and want to change things. The other sort of new character who comes in, Sydney, played by Ao, who also won an Emmy. She is like a new sort of kid. She's tried to set up her own business and failed, but she really knows how to run a business, and the two of them basically sort of shuffle the whole business and everything, and by the end of the season it works. They've got some sort of cohesion, some sort of unity, and it's nice. I did enjoy the first season, but the second season really pushed it up to another level, but they went in sort of a different direction, where at the end of the first season you see that they find a bunch of money that the brother was keeping, apparently. So they decide they're going to renovate the whole building, so they shut it down to renovate the whole thing. So the next season, the whole season, is them preparing to open, and the last episode is the first night when they're opening. And it does seem to, it's like they got notes, and it's like, well, people like to watch this show because they like to see not the drama, not the family drama, but just the behind the scenes of how a restaurant runs, because everyone's obsessed with food preparation and My Kitchen Rules and all these sort of shows, and it's like they just went in that direction. And there's even an episode where Richie ends up spending like a week at the world-class restaurant that Kami was working at, and they show just like the point of these sort of restaurants where they just are so over the top and so fancy and so ridiculous with the preparation and the counting down to seconds to get things prepared, and the expense and extravagance, and it seems just bizarre and over the top to most people. But when you understand that it's sort of heightened to an art form, and that these people, it's like a performance, and it's the experience that they can give to the customer that is like the reward for it all, and they do make it make sense, which I never thought I'd understand in this world, even though I kind of have a little bit of exposure to this world, because one of my past relationships was a restaurant owner. He owned 2 restaurants, and although I never worked in the restaurant, I did sort of just help out randomly from time to time, and sort of everyone sort of who was in that orbit had to sort of, lend a hand from time to time, which was the funniest thing about the last episode, seeing the partners just sitting at the tables. I'm like, that I would not have, had I done that on the first night we had our first date at the restaurant, if I just sat there and been served, there wouldn't have been a second. So that was funny, but the whole thing was interesting. Like I said, I gained more of an understanding of that world, and I think that's what the show is really about now. I don't like the main actor, Jeremy Allen White, and I hate his name because my name's Stephen Allen White. and he's just so unattractive. And I'm like, how does this unattractive person get to be the star of a TV show? I gave up on acting because I wasn't good looking enough to be an actor. So how does this butt ugly guy get to be like this amazing actor and have his own series and get Emmys and everything? It's not fair. But yeah, so it was interesting to see Jamie Lee Curtis play the mother. I heard that she was going to be playing the mother. She's in 2 episodes, and she takes it to a unbelievable level of drama. She literally drives a car through a wall. I mean, I'm not exaggerating. This is their dinner, Christmas dinner. It's just extreme. It's over the top. It's too much. But you can understand how they all ended up as broken as they were with her as a mother. She shows up in the last episode. She goes to the restaurant. She basically looks in from the outside while smoking. She just wants to have been there and to see how they were doing, but she didn't want to go in. And one of the in-laws bumps into her and she begs him not to tell her. And I'm thinking she just wants to create a scene. She wants to be dragged in, like, oh no, don't take me. No, I don't want to cause. But she actually convinces him to let it be, and she actually leaves without ruining the night for her, which kind of contradicts my theory that this woman really just wants attention. And just the manipulation and the abuse and the verbal abuse and that goes on in this with this family is sort of interesting. And there's the addiction and the addiction to the adrenaline and the fighting and the drama. I think they need to focus more on that and that sort of case study in that sort of family dysfunction, more so than the foodie sort of side of things, like the food cult sort of side of things. And that's sort of what they sort of went with in the second season, I kind of felt like. But I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. I did enjoy it. I'm going to watch the 3rd season. I might have, if I couldn't have gone straight from season 1 to season 2, I don't know if I would have, because season 1, it kind of worked, but it kind of didn't. And then season 2 became really interesting, but it kind of abandoned season 1, even though I thought season 1 was more what the show should have been about, even though it wasn't as interesting.